What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Edge Over Action. It is Tuesday, July 21st, 2026, and we've got another full day of baseball to go through. There's actually a few pretty interesting games on the board today. There's some favorites that I like, but I'm not quite sure if I like the price, and there's some underdogs getting a lot more money than bets. And there's a couple games where, honestly, I think Vegas might have gotten the number pretty much close to right. So we're going to go through everything, see what stands out, see what looks a little suspicious, and hopefully by the end of the video, we'll have a few bets that are actually worth taking. And real quick, before we get started, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. By you guys watching, commenting, it really helps this channel grow. It helps out a lot more than you think, so thank you. Also, just a real quick disclaimer, I'm not responsible for any bad beats, any losses, or any money that you lose. Please bet responsibly. That's your money. Don't bet what you can't afford to lose. So with that being said, let's get right into it. First game up, we've got Twins at Guardians. All right, so we're going to start with Minnesota and Cleveland. Cleveland is sitting around minus 141 right now. They open closer to minus 135, so the price has moved a little bit towards Guardians. And at first glance, I understand why. Parker Messick has been really good for Cleveland. He's got a 2.73 ERA, a 1.07 WHIP, and he's striking out close to 9 batters per 9 innings. Minnesota is throwing Jay Anderson, and we really don't have a huge sample on him yet. He's got a 3.38 ERA, which looks fine, but he's only striking out around 6.5 batters per 9 innings. Cleveland also just beat Minnesota 13-4, so I'm sure that's going to push more casual money towards the Guardians. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Cleveland is getting 87% of the bets. And here's the interesting part. They're only getting 63% of the money. Minnesota has just 13% of tickets, but 37% of the money. So there are clearly some bigger bets showing up on the Twins. Now, does that mean I'm automatically betting Minnesota? No. No. I don't think that's enough by itself. Cleveland still has the better starting pitcher, and they probably deserve to be favored. But do I want to lay minus 141 when 90% of the money is already on Cleveland? Not really. This feels like one of those games where Cleveland probably wins more often than Minnesota, but I'm not sure there's enough value left in the price. And that's a big difference. A team being more likely to win does not automatically make them a good bet. So right now, I'm staying away from the Cleveland money line. I don't hate the Guardians, I just don't love the price. So we're going to keep moving on. All right, now we've got Dodgers and Phillies, and this is probably one of the biggest games on the slate. Zach Wheeler is going for Philadelphia, and he's been ridiculous this year. He's 10-1 with a 2.13 ERA, whip under 0.9, and more than 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's pretty much as good as you're going to find. The Dodgers are going with Justin Warbleski, and Warbleski has actually been really solid too. He's 10-2 with a 2.69 ERA and just a 1.00 whip. So I don't want to act like this is a Wheeler against some terrible pitcher, because it's not. The Phillies definitely have the pitching advantage, but Dodgers are still the Dodgers. You got Otani, Freeman, Betts, Muncy, Kyle Tucker, Teoscar Hernandez. There's no easy part of that lineup. The Phillies are getting 73% of the bets and 68% of the money. The line opened around minus 135, and it's sitting around minus 138. So we've got public support on Philadelphia, but the line really hasn't done anything crazy. And honestly, I'm okay with that. Sometimes people see the public on one side and immediately want to fade it. I don't do that. The public can be right. The question is whether they're paying the right price. And at around minus 135 to minus 140, I think Philadelphia is still pretty reasonable. Wheeler has been dominant. The Phillies are at home, and the Dodgers are dealing with some pitching injuries, including Blake Snell being scratched. Now, I looked at the first 5 money line, and the Phillies are sitting closer to minus 158 there. I don't really want to pay that. I know the idea is to isolate Wheeler and avoid the bullpen, but the number is getting expensive. I'd rather take the full game Phillies money line at that cheaper price. So Philadelphia is definitely on my early list. I played around minus 140 or better. Once we start getting closer to minus 150, I'm probably going to leave it alone because, again, I like the Phillies, but I don't like them at a possible price. I mean, that's just too much juice. Next up, we've got Pittsburgh and the Yankees. The Yankees are sitting around minus 150, and pretty much everybody's on New York. They're getting 86% of the bets and 87% of the money. So there's no big disagreement here. The public likes the Yankees. The bigger money likes the Yankees. And Vegas has continued to make you pay a decent price for the Yankees. Pittsburgh is throwing Bubba Chandler. He's 3-8 with a 4.77 ERA and a 1.45 WHIP. The Yankees are throwing Will Warren. Warren hasn't been amazing, but he's been better than Chandler. He's got a 4.03 ERA and a 1.36 WHIP. Pittsburgh is also going to be without O'Neill Cruz, so I completely understand why people are betting New York. They've got the better lineup, the better starting pitcher numbers. They're at home, and Pittsburgh is missing one of its biggest bats. Here's the problem: minus 150. It's not cheap. And Will Warren is not the type of pitcher I'm excited to lay minus 150 with. Could the Yankees win this game? Yeah, of course. They probably should win this game, but I don't want to bet something just because it looks obvious. That's how you end up laying bad prices over and over again. And eventually, even if you're picking a lot of winners, you're still not making money. So I'm going to pass on the Yankees pregame. I'm also not taking Pittsburgh just because they're the unpopular side. I don't really trust either options enough. This might be a game I might look at live. Maybe the Yankees fall behind early and they can get them at a much better number. But pregame, I'm not laying minus 150 with Will Warren. So yeah, let's keep moving. Now we've got Tampa Bay and Toronto, and this is probably one of my favorite matchups on the early board. Tampa Bay is around minus 115. The open closer to minus 111, so there's been a small move towards the Rays. Drew Rasmussen is going for Tampa. He's got a 3.26 ERA and a really strong 0.95 whip. Kevin Gusman is going for Toronto, and I know Gusman is still capable of having a really good game, but he hasn't been nearly as consistent. He's got a 4.33 ERA and a 1.22 WHIP. Toronto is also missing Jose Barrios, Anthony Santander, Bowden Francis, and Addison Barger. So the Blue Jays are definitely not at full strength. Tampa Bay is getting 63% of bets, but 76% of the money. That's something I like a lot more. It's not 90% of public all piling onto one side. It's a manageable amount of support, and the money percentage is higher than the ticket percentage. That usually tells us the average Tampa Bay bet is a little bit bigger. The Rays also won the previous game 7-1. Normally, I'd be careful about chasing a team coming off a big win, but at minus 115, I don't like the market. I don't like that the market has gone crazy with it. I like Tampa Bay has the better starting pitcher. I think they're the healthier team, and I think this price is still fair. So the Rays money line is one of my stronger leans as of right now. I played it up to minus 120, maybe minus 122 at the absolute highest, but I really don't want to go past that. At minus 115, I like it. All right, so we're about halfway through. If you're enjoying the breakdown, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm trying to go through these games honestly and not going to pretend I love every game just so I can give out more picks. Sometimes the right answer is to pass. Sometimes Vegas gets it right. We're just looking for the games where we think the price might be a little off. All right, let's get back into it. All right. Up next, San Diego and Atlanta. Atlanta's around minus 149 right now, but this line opened closer to minus 125. So there's been a pretty big move towards the Braves. And when you look at the starting pitchers, it makes sense. Walker Buehler is going for San Diego. He's got a 5.36 ERA and a 1.44 whip. Ronaldo Lopez is going for Atlanta. He's got a 3.5 ERA and a 1.27 whip. So Atlanta has the better starting pitcher. They're at home. It's going to be hot, around 88 degrees, which is not ideal for a pitcher that's already been struggling. And Atlanta's already beaten San Diego twice in a row. The Braves are getting 87% of the bets and 88% of the money. So everybody seems to be on Atlanta. And once again, I understand it. I like the Braves too. But if you got minus 125, you got a much better bet than somebody taking minus 150, and that matters. It's the exact same team, the exact same game, and the price changes the bet. At minus 125, I'd be pretty excited about Atlanta. At minus 149, I still like them, but I'm definitely less excited. So the Braves are going to stay on my list, but I'm putting a hard limit on the price. Minus 150 is probably my stopping point. If this gets to minus 155, minus 160, I'm not chasing it. It's way too much juice. I'd rather wait for a live opportunity. Maybe San Diego scores first and we can get Atlanta close to even money. That would be a lot more interesting. So I lean Braves. I like the matchup. I just don't love how much the line has already moved. Now we've got Mets and Brewers, and this game is kind of weird. Milwaukee is 62 and 37. The Mets are 42 and 58. Milwaukee has won 3 straight against New York, and the Brewers are getting 90% of the bets. So everything about this game is screaming Milwaukee, but then you look at the starting pitchers. You got Thornton going for the Mets. He's got a 2.6 ERA and a 0.92 whip. Milwaukee is starting Sproat. He's got a 5.16 ERA and a 1.37 whip. So the Mets actually have the better starting pitcher numbers. And then when we look at the betting percentages, New York only has 10% of the bets, but they have 42% of the money. That's a huge, huge difference. That means the average bet on the Mets is much bigger than the average bet on Milwaukee. Now, I want to be careful here. Because the line is still moving toward Milwaukee, the Brewers open around minus 136 and now around minus 147. So even with some bigger money showing up on New York, the market is still making Milwaukee more expensive. That could be because of the lineup news. It could be because Francisco Lindor is questionable. It could be because there's other information out there that we're not fully seeing yet. So I'm not ready to blindly bet on the Mets just because of the starting pitcher matchup, but I am interested. If Lindor is confirmed in the lineup, the starting pitchers stay the same, and we can get New York around plus 125 or better, I think that becomes worth considering. I know it's uncomfortable. Nobody wants to bet the Mets in general at all against a team that's 6-2 and 37, 62 and 37, quite possibly one of the best teams in Major League Baseball this season. Yeah. But that's also why we're getting plus money. So for now, the Mets are a conditional lean. I need Lindor active. I need the pitching matchup confirmed. I need at least plus 125. If I don't get all three, I'm passing. All right, next up is San Francisco and Kansas City. This game is basically a pick'em. The Giants are around minus 108. Kansas City is around minus 111. Both starting pitchers have been pretty bad. Tyler Mahle has a 5.31 ERA and a 1.46 whip. El Avila has a 5.08 ERA and a really ugly 1.62 whip. So the first thing you probably think is over, and I get it. 2 bad pitchers, hot weather. The total is 9.5. But 9.5 is already a pretty big number. It's not like Vegas gave us 8 and we're finding something they missed. They know the starters are bad. They know it's going to be hot. They've already built that into the total. Kansas City is getting 72% of the bets and 77% of the money. But the money line is still pretty much a coin flip. And honestly, I don't trust either team enough to pick either side. This feels like one of those games where you can talk yourself into anything. You can take Kansas City because they're at home. You can take San Francisco because Avila is 1.62 whip. You can take the over because both pitchers are bad. Yeah. When I can make a decent argument for almost every option, that usually tells me the game is probably a pass. So I'm staying away pregame. Maybe we get a live total opportunity if both pitchers are getting hit hard, but the runs haven't shown up yet. So, yeah, I'm good on this one. All right, last game in this part of the board is Baltimore and Boston. And at the time of this recording, we still don't have a normal full game line posted. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend I have a bet when we don't even know the price. Boston has won 5 straight against Baltimore. They've beaten them 6-5, 6-1, 7-6, 5-3, and 10-0. So Boston has clearly owned this matchup recently. They're throwing Suarez, who has a 3.15 ERA, a 1.16 whip, and more than 9 strikeouts per 9 innings. Baltimore is going with Kyle Bradish. He's got a 3.61 ERA and a 1.35 whip. So I would lean Boston based on the pitching matchup and the recent results. But again, what's the price? If the Red Sox open minus 125 or minus 130, maybe we've got something to look at. If they open minus 160 because they've won 5 straight against Baltimore, then I'm probably out. We can't decide whether a bet is good without knowing what we have to pay for it. So for right now, no line means no bet. We'll come back to this one when the books actually post something. All right, guys, I'm going to get into my early betting card now. I just want to go over some of the games that I thought looked a little suspicious. So, yeah, my favorite early lean right now is Tampa Bay Rays money line. I like Drew Rasmussen over Kevin Gausman. I like the Rays' current form, and I like that they're getting more money than the bets. And at around minus 115, I think the price is still fair. I would play Tampa Bay up to minus 120. All right, next is Phillies money line. Zach Wheeler has been one of the best pitchers in baseball. The Dodgers lineup is obviously dangerous, so this is not some guaranteed win. But at minus 140 or better, I think Philadelphia is worth considering. So yeah, Philly money line. I'm also on the Braves against San Diego. I really don't trust Walker Buehler in this matchup, especially in the heat, but I'm not going past minus 150. That line has already moved, and I'm not chasing Atlanta just because everybody else is on them. And the underdog I'm watching is the Mets. I need Lindor active. I need the pitching matchup to stay the same, and I need plus 125 or better. If all that happens, I think New York might be worth a smaller play. So the final card looks like Tampa Bay money line playable to minus 120, Philadelphia money line playable to minus 140, Atlanta money line playable to minus 150, and Mets money line plus 125 or better, but only if Lindor and the starting pitchers are confirmed. Everything else is a pass or something I want to watch live. All right, guys, and that's what I'm seeing on the board right now. Obviously, the lines can move, players can be scratched, starting pitchers can change. So make sure you're checking the final numbers before you place. And please don't just copy a team without looking at the price. If I like Tampa Bay at minus 115, that does not mean I like Tampa Bay at minus 145. It's the same team, but it's not the same bet. And honestly, that's probably the biggest thing I want people to take away from this channel. We're not trying to pick every winner. Nobody can do that. It's impossible. We're trying to find spots where we think the odds are a little bit off and the price is worth the risk. Some days we might find 5 bets, some days we might find 1, and some days we might find nothing at all. And that's okay. We don't need action every day. We just need an edge. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to Edge Over Action. Let me know your favorite bet down in the comments, but make sure you include the price too. Don't just tell me the team. The numbers matter. We always bet responsibly. No edge, no bet. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Let's cash some tickets.